Call this meeting to order of the Lincoln County Board of Education, meeting on Friday, January the 26th. It's 4 p.m. and we're at the county office. We have no one signed up for public comment. Is that true? Thank you. But we don't have Pledge of Allegiance on there again. Let's begin with that one more time. Pledge of Allegiance, Mr. Wilson, would you lead us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, that brings us to item 3, presentations and reports. We have Principal Christina Mounts from Ranger giving us the LSIC report. So Principal Mounts, if you'd come forward and make sure your mic's on.
I knew she'd say that.
Yeah, you do, because I can't hear.
I knew you'd say that. I did.
For the recording. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
It's pretty, isn't it, Dana? Looks pretty. Is it on? Okay. I'm not going to go through the basics of this. Every LSIC presentation that you've heard, most of the strategies and stuff that are being utilized in one school across Lincoln County, it's being utilized in pretty much every school. So we're using the Ashlock strategies in reading. We've instilled an extra 30-minute block in the morning to do skills. We're using the iReady program to enhance learning as well as remediate or help to meet those children's individual needs. Our vision at Ranger is together, may we give our children roots to grow and wings to fly. And our vision is we will strive to meet the social, emotional, physical, and academic needs of all children to ensure they each become a self-sufficient lifelong learner with a sense of self-worth. And to me, that's the most important thing that we as educators can make as a priority, is to teach those children that they are worth, their self-worth is there. They may not think it, but we have to help them learn to become the person that they can be. And we work diligently every day to do that. We have 13 professional staff. We have 9 support staff. We have 5 Apple certified teachers. I'm an Apple certified principal. And we have 1 support staff member, Trina, who is an Apple certified person. Our goals this year were to raise our ELA and math, West Virginia General Summative Assessment scores by 5% as versus the state, what the state has. We're hoping we're not hoping. We really truly think that's going to happen. So that's just I know in my heart. We're working diligently to make that happen every day. We also, our second goal was to increase our attendance by 3% from last school year's attendance rate to this school year's attendance rate. Our last month was 89.9 for the month. The previous was like 90 point something. So we're hanging tight at 90. We do have 27 children this 9 weeks that met the Strive for 95 goals. So we will be celebrating with them the next week or so. Out of 72 kids, 27 is pretty good to meet that criteria. Yeah. Our ELA proficiency rate on our West Virginia General Summative Assessment was 25% overall, and our math proficiency was 24% overall. We've had various celebrations this year. We've our annual Halloween parade. We've had several attendance celebrations, and we do that daily. There is a challenge between all grade levels, And if every kid is in your classes present and they arrive on time and they stay till the end of the day, then that group that day gets an item of some kind of celebration. So we do it weekly. If your class has the most days of all students being present, then you get on Friday, there's a celebration with your class. And then we also do it monthly as a competition between all grades. And first grade has won it a couple times. And I think fifth grade's in the running for it this time. So we have done the Strive for 95 first 9 weeks with a bowling trip. We've done Spirit Week, Ribbon Week, Cookies with Santa, the Grinch Story with State Farm, Veterans Day Assembly. The Cloggers have came to our school twice. We've had Grandparents Thanksgiving, Christmas program, Books a Million field trip where each child was given $20 by M.L. Dillon Machine Corporation in Ona. He sponsored every kid with $20 to go to Books a Million to buy books.
All 74 of them.
All 70.
Wonderful.
Every child had $20 to spend on books only. They couldn't buy toys with it.
What company was that?
M.L. Dillon.
What is that?
It's a machine
It's
shop.
the machine
Machine
shop.
We need-
Last year,
We need to send
he
him a note.
sponsored us and did the same thing. And he also, with our Christmas program for gifts for needy children, he donated like $2,000.
This same guy.
This same guy,
Lordy,
Christmas blessings, yes.
that's
He,
wonderful.
for the last 5 years, he has been absolutely amazing. Anything I call him to ask for support for, he just writes a check and sends it to us.
My gosh.
Can we?
He doesn't
send-
We need
question
to send
anything.
him something.
Yes, we
Yes,
make
we
sure
do.
we send something.
Yeah, we do too.
He came once to the Books a Million field trip just to meet the kids.
You're a kid.
No, he and his secretary came over and
That's
visited with the
wonderful.
kids. So
He got to see his bucks in.
absolutely,
And see those
absolutely.
kids.
We've had story time and family night with me. Santa even showed up that night. We've had a technology family night. And also the same day that we went to Books a Million, Tomlin's Bottling Gas sponsored all of our children at Ruby Tuesdays and paid for all their meals. So every child ate free that day as well. So we've got some very good people that support us very kindly.
Yes, you do.
The next section is our benchmark data from iReady, and this is showing the growth. So at this time, that's where our children fall in each grade level.
Is it January or beginning of school?
This is January. It's from beginning of school to January. This is where they fall at January time. So they've made quite a bit of growth. We do have some kids that are falling in the red. And then we have some kids that are 3 levels below in our 4th and 5th grades.
And I interrupt you to ask about iReady. I'm trying to educate I'm not elementary, and I'm trying to educate myself. How much time do you have during the day for remediation for iReady?
We have scheduled in our schedule a 30-minute block.
30 minutes, okay.
Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to be full 30 minutes by the time they log in and then make it through their lessons and everything, but we do have a 30-minute block every day for iReady lessons.
Are you satisfied with that amount of time?
Yes, because if you give them too much more than that, then it's going to end up being, they're not going to put the effort forth to make the gains they can.
Okay. I will-
Now, some children can handle more time and they'll ask for more time, especially if they are that close to finishing a lesson.
Mhm.
Okay, now help me understand this. There, students that need the remediation are, let's take 2nd grade. When I talk to principals, I always use 2nd grade. Let's take 2nd grade. you got a kid that's behind in second grade. He's scheduled to get 30 minutes of remediation a day.
Mhm.
Uh, If you give him any more, he may be frustrated.
What, now that's on using the computer,
Okay,
but we also do our block of time set up for our reading is stationed. And they have a 20-minute block to work on spelling or whatever. They have a 20-minute block maybe to work on reading silently or reading orally with a partner. Then they have there's a block of time in there that they meet directly
okay,
with the
you got
teacher.
14
and
kids
they
in,
rotate through that.
14 kids in the second grade.
Yes,
Okay, in their regular classroom with a regular second grade teacher,
who is my second, third grade teacher.
Split.
split grade,
Yes.
okay. So when you
But
say,
you have to be very creative in your time
With two
and
second,
when you're
third.
trying
well,
to
you got
do
20 kids in that class.
exactly, and there's second grade and third grade.
Okay,
Now, my Title I teacher is working with third grade some.
At the same time that the other one's teaching
When-
second
when-
grade reading,
yes.
they just split.
She's pulling in and out.
Now,
Yes.
how long is that time, that block of time for all three of those things? An hour?
We do about 90 minutes.
Okay, good, because that's what we did with
Reading. That's
Success
what
for
the
All.
key is.
Yeah.
But finding the 90 minutes to do it for math is
It's tough.
difficult.
Yes, it is.
Because you still have to get your science and your social studies in if you don't work them into your
Reading
reading.
block. Yeah.
okay.
And there was programs before that worked that science and social studies into that reading block. And it made it flow very smoothly. And
Yeah.
you could dedicate that 90 minutes to math and 90 minutes to reading.
Yeah, I did
But-
that and the teachers when we were at Ranger and
Absolutely.
Success.
And it
for All. And it worked
absolutely,
because
it
they were
worked.
reading, materials.
The
but
material was all
It is.
dedicated to social
And it was at
studies
that grade
information.
level and it
Mhm.
worked out perfect.
Yes, I
Okay.
totally agree with you.
Yeah.
So, your bell schedule,
My bell schedule, my
how many
students,
minutes a day do you have from your bell schedule?
we go to class at 8:45 and my bell rings at 2:20. I mean, 7:45.
7:45.
Yes. I'm out there.
Who's doing the math? You doing the math on that, Butch?
It's like
No, but I-
360 minutes or something a day.
Yeah, you're,
Okay.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
always been over.
yeah,
Okay. Now, elementary by state law, but K through what, 5?
5.
Is
Mhm.
315 minutes.
mhm,
So you have excess time and that's primarily buses and the bus schedule will dictate your schedule. Okay, so all of that from 3:15 to 3:40, is that what you said?
2:45.
3:45. So
Two.
you've got 30 minutes
2:45.
extra time a day at Ranger. These aren't questions I'm
Excuse me.
looking, I'm looking at all schools like
Mhm.
this. So we had Miss Huffman from Hamlin here last week. And she said she'd like to have more time in that remedial time, which caused me to go back and think, how can we get more time? And then 315 minutes, and I'm looking at that. We have more time at most schools that can be built in for remedial instruction, but we stretched it out for other instructions. Not being elementary, I'm not sure what you're required to teach, but we have extra time during the day. And I'm looking whether that extra time can be geared toward already
Well,
remedial
We
time.
already use that extra time, that 30 minutes in the morning.
mhm.
We do that skill block the first 30 minutes in
First
the
thing.
morning.
Okay,
So that's remediation right there to start off. with.
okay. Well, I don't know what that is. Mr. Barnett does. So I'm kind of just being the devil's advocate here and trying to find a way to build a better mousetrap. There's no way we're gonna hire more teachers to do this, so we've got to do this within the work confines of our time that we have. So anyway, I thank you for answering that for me.
You have to be very creative in your scheduling, and if you have a teacher that will do the social studies and the ELA together,
Mhm.
which is very easy
Easy.
to do,
Yes, it is.
especially if you use the newspapers, the social studies newspapers, which teach every bit of the content that you need taught. But it doesn't with social studies content. It still can teach the reading and all of that. If you have upper grades that are doing that, they're learning all of the skills they need through reading, but they're also learning all those skills in science and social studies, all the note taking, all of the using context clues to go back and figure out the meaning of things. It pulls it all in a newspaper that makes it so simple. And we've done that for years. This is the first year we haven't used newspapers. First year.
Okay.
And we've done that in second, third, fourth, and fifth grade. And they're learning all the social studies content, but they're getting all of the reading elements that they need as well.
How much grammar do you get in elementary school?
You build that into your English and your spelling.
I saw
And right now,
seventh
that's
grade.
not, when we were in school, there was a separate time for English.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Separate time for spelling, separate time for reading.
but it's all.
But it's
together.
all combined
Yeah, it
now.
is.
And it's
Yeah.
very easy to,
Well, you take the
overlook.
words that you're learning to
That's
read and
it.
you know what they are, part of speech, and then you use them in the spelling. So it all works together
but
instead
if
of
you,
changing
if
books.
you build,
Yes.
if you build on your reading skills or your social study skills or whatever
it
you're teaching
is.
from, if you build on that and use the vocabulary and use the sentence structure, but you can't just look up a definition to a word. That's not teaching them how to learn
No.
a word.
No.
The meaning of the word, how it's used in context. You have to be creative. And I should be teaching right now, but it's
Yeah.
okay. But I am just all of the stuff that the
Yeah.
State Department's doing with reading right now,
It makes sense.
coming back,
Yeah,
it all makes sense.
It
And it
does.
all flows and ties together.
yeah.
It makes a seamless pattern for you to follow. And that's what kids need to be able to grasp
The whole
when you're
thing,
teaching
yes.
inferencing or you're teaching sequencing. If you use everything in that classroom all day to revolve around those particular skills, your kids are going to internalize that
Mhm.
very quickly. And
It
Success
makes
for All
sense to you. Oh,
was
success for,
the
oh,
best
it was.
at doing that.
It was. I love that.
There was 10 times more work on your
Yeah.
teacher,
But they really,
but your children
They did.
absolutely learned. It was repetitive.
but you know,
It was, and you
Christina,
taught the vocabulary, you taught sight words, you taught words that you sound out. We had red words and green words.
Mhm.
And a lot of that's coming back through this
Yes, it
science,
is.
this
Oh,
new
yeah,
science
it
of
is.
reading.
Because the
It
science
is.
of reading is
It's
built on
exactly-
almost
it is
the
built, it
same
is.
pillars that Success for All
There
and
is.
Reading First were built
Well,
on.
I can remember the teachers saying to me, this makes more sense because our spelling words come from the
The
reading lesson.
exactly.
The
And they learn
commas,
the meaning
they
of that.
do, and the parts of speech and when to put, you
Mhm.
know, different things. It wasn't you get out your English book, you get out your
No.
spelling books. It was that one story.
And it was seamless.
Oh, it was.
Everything
It
just
was,
worked.
it was really, really
Well, I
good.
looked at
I'm
the
sorry,
seventh-
I'm not
that-
a,
That's fine, that's
I
fine,
would
thank you.
gladly be a Success for All advocate.
I looked at a seventh grade ELA book. There was almost no grammar in that book. There was no parts of speech. There was none, the traditional stuff that they had when I was connected with schools. And I thought, where are they getting it? Where,
You don't teach prepositions anymore as a
Adjectives
single,
or whatever.
and I remember that stuff in
so
school.
when are they
It was
getting that?
taught separately.
When are they getting those prepositions and nouns and conjunctions?
In language arts,
In language arts,
Yeah.
but I know that my teachers are teaching it because I go in and listen to them.
yeah.
even in my kindergarten and my preschool.
Is it our book series that we adopt that causes us not to teach it, or is that the state
You-
emphasis? What is that?
The book series is a wonderful guide, but as a teacher, and you don't know elementary, as a teacher in elementary, you cannot take that book and say, this is exactly what I'm teaching. I'm teaching exactly from this, and that's it. Because that's not going to meet every skill deficiency or skill weakness that your kids have. You have to be creative enough to pull materials from other places and intertwine that into what your book's doing. And a lot of our new teachers have never been, that's not been a part of their college education. And they haven't been in the system long enough to, and I have a first year teacher this year, phenomenal teacher. But you know what? I paired her with Lucy Fry. Lucy Fry's got 30+ years. She's retired, but she came back and is working this year. They have hit it off, and she runs everything through Lucy. And Lucy gives her pointers on everything to do to meet all the needs of the kids. And that, having that mentor is the key for new teachers. I mean, you can bring them over here and do all kinds of professional development you want to do, but until you have a mentor in that building,
That day.
meeting with them day after day,
Yes.
That's the key.
difference. Yeah, it is.
that's the key. That, in my opinion. And right now I've got all kinds of opinions, so.
Fine. Thank you.
But our focus this year is math and reading, or ELA. We have a PK through 2 PLC, we have a 3 through 5 PLC, and then my leadership team is every teacher. And then I pull in the aides as well, because some of the instructional aides that we have should be teachers. We've got a couple that absolutely I've pushed and pushed. I want them to get their degrees. So, and they're working on it. The next thing is our culture. And this one is the hard one. We strive daily to rise above the obstacles and negativity that was placed before us. Ranger Elementary staff as a team work together daily to continuously create a positive, loving atmosphere for our students and ourselves, so everyone feels valued. We are instilling in our children the capability of accomplishing any goal they deem important in their life. They are learning to become thriving, well-rounded members of society. And to me, that's the most important thing I can teach them, that they are worth loving, they should be loved, and that they can accomplish anything they want to accomplish. It doesn't matter that they come from the holler, that the last house in the holler. I'm a last house in the holler girl. All my life, I lived in the last house in the holler. Look at me now. I accomplished. And that wasn't because I had money, because I had none. My family was very, very poor. But you know what? I was driven to do better and to make things better for myself. And that's what I have to instill in these kids, because they're not getting it at home. They're not getting that encouragement, that push, that you are beautiful, you're worthy. You know, not every child has a perfect home life. I didn't have a perfect home life, but I overcame that. And my babies can overcome that too, because I'm going to be here to support them until I'm not here anymore. Even when I retire, I'll still be there to support them.
And teaching somebody else how to do it.
Absolutely, if I can. So our LSIC meetings, everything else is on the back. I do have Marvin Dillon's company listed there. We've done several different student safety things, from verbal presentations of what my kids should do on the playground if there was an emergency or a crisis. They know that there's a gate on the side where the houses are, that they can go out that gate and go to any house.
Mhm.
And those people have already opened their arms. If they see a kid coming, they're going to bring that baby in and call 911. And then ask questions. So we've had the DEP in this year with our environmental safety. We've had fire safety, bus safety. The Corps of Engineers has came and done water safety. We still have some other things scheduled for the rest of the year. So, any more questions?
Is Gloria Tomlin the owner of Tomlin Bottle Gas?
Yes,
Okay,
she and her husband.
okay.
Yes.
And do you know where that is? I've got the address for ML Dillon, but
I
I used to send him
Trina. Can't remember.
machinists.
Yeah.
Anybody have anything else, Principal Mounts?
Good job.
Thank you very much
Good
for
job.
coming in.
I do have something else to say,
Okay, go ahead.
and I'm not being harsh, mean, but I do think you need it brought to your attention, okay? There was, once Ranger was closed, there was a social media post that said that closing Ranger was an accomplishment that this board had accomplished.
That was my post.
Yes, it was. I was very offended. I was very angry, and I was very disappointed.
Well, I
Because
understand
in
that.
my eyes, that should never been posted as an accomplishment. You could have thought that all day, but in my eyes, that was horrible for my kids to hear, my teachers and my staff, and for me to think that the board thought it was an accomplishment to close a school.
Now, the board didn't think.
I'm sorry it came across that way.
There's no other way it could have came across.
Well, it still is an accomplishment in a sense. We manage finances, and
That's fine.
that was an
Believe there was
accomplishment
some
that
no
we
votes on
managed
that.
to take a
There's
difficult,
two of them.
it's not easy to close a school. It's a difficult situation. Boards have looked at that for several years. This board stiffened up and we said, we got to be good managers of our money. And given the student ratio, we're looking at spending 1.4 million up there every year.
That wasn't what the latest information said.
Well, we got 20,000 per kid to educate.
I'm just gonna be honest with
Well,
you.
I'm saying here that 20,000 per kid at Ranger as opposed to, I think 15,000, maybe 16 at some other schools. We could save whatever we're spending and put those kids at another school and use that money for the best interest. It's managing finances. We don't have enough to
You know
go
what?
around.
Managing is fine, but when you get on a social media platform
Well, I
and you make that
apologize.
statement, that is absolutely unprofessional, and I took very much offense to it. I have no respect left
Well, I
for that because that was
apologize.
absolutely
I
unprofessional.
apologize that you were offended by that, but
They had more opportunity and more opportunity for growth. We wasn't different schools
Wow.
with us.
I'm not trying to be,
we're managing money and we say that I apologize for the wording. The intent was this board did a fantastic thing by managing money and still providing those kids with an education. So again, I note what you said. Thank you.
What was the vote on that?
It was 3-2. You and Mr. Snyder voted against
We
it.
did indeed.
well, thank you very much for letting me have my time.
You're most welcome. Thank you. Okay, takes us to Mr. Daniel Cartwright, is here to speak, regarding the board vacancy. If I may take a second to catch up on this whole process of appointing a board member. Mr. Pastori, resigned and we accepted his resignation on December the 13th, I believe that was. We had 45 days to fill that position. If it's not filled, the state superintendent will fill that position with whoever they may want to do it. They can pick anybody out of anywhere. That person can't come from Hamlin. You have to be able to fill one of the magisterial districts. We have an opening in the Duval area and an opening in the Harts, Guyan River area. That state superintendent will pick if we can't decide in 45 days. That time is up today. We, per county policy, we had to advertise for applicants for that position. We did that. I believe the deadline was December the 29th. We had 2 applicants to apply for that position. We were scheduled to interview both those applicants on a Monday night here a week or 2 ago. I don't remember the date. That Monday night was canceled because of inclement weather. One of the applicants found it impossible to be here, and he talked with his wife and said, the best thing I can do at this point is to pull my application. He is running for the board for this next term. But he's pulled his application for the interim position. So that left one person, that's Mr. Daniel Cartwright. When I found that out from the other gentleman had pulled out, I called all board members and told them what had happened and asked, is there a need for an interview since we've got one applicant? Unanimously, we all said, no, it's pretty cut and dried. Then we have a special call meeting, January the 18th. Thank you, Robin. To select Mr. Cartwright. And I called Mr. Cartwright and told him he didn't have to come to the interview because he was the only applicant. We get to the meeting and I don't remember which one of you two, but one of you said we need to go into executive session and talk about this. So we go into executive session, just the 4 board members. And there was something that came up with Mr. Cartwright's past.
I'm not sure we can
As
discuss.
a-
No,
that.
I don't
We
think
can't
this needs to
discuss
be
what happened.
discussed in
Sorry,
open.
we can't discuss
Doesn't
an
need to
open
be-
meeting. You can have.
No.
executive session.
What happens in executive session is,
No,
Yes.
David, it is not.
excuse me,
It is not.
somebody said we have a problem with Mr. Cartwright's past.
Object.
I object to
called-
that
You can
too.
have any conversation about what occurred in executive session.
Superintendent, we
That's
need to
zero
object to that. That
Conversation.
doesn't
happened in
need to
executive
go
session.
any farther in
What
an
hap-
open meeting.
You're
Wrong.
wrong, but I
You're
will
wrong.
concede
No.
that for
You're
the
wrong.
sake of
No,
moving
that's the
along.
law.
In any event, Mr. Cartwright was called. I have the phone records that the duration of that call was 1 minute. It basically was an interview over the phone. Then we came out and we voted. Mr. Wilson made the motion. I seconded. We had the vote. It was 2-2, two against. It takes 3 to approve. At that point, nothing was done that night. We adjourned. We're back tonight to do the same thing. Mr. Cartwright felt like he did not get a chance for an interview, and I agree with him. So he's on the agenda tonight to speak. Now, because this is a political season, we have to be very careful. We will allow Mr. Cartwright to speak, and if any of the board members have any questions for Mr. Cartwright? You need to make a motion and we'll go into executive session, the four of us. And because we're split 2-2 as a board, I'll ask Mr. Barnett and Mr. Davis to accompany us as impartial observers, not commenting or participating. If you have no comment to Mr. Cartwright, then when he finishes, that's it. But that's where we stand at this point. Is that just about right, the situation? All right, Mr. Cartwright, you have the floor.
Thank you all. Mr. Snyder, Mr. Burns,
Thank you.
don't know that I need that, but we'll keep it there. As everybody knows, I'm Daniel Cartwright. If you don't know me, that's my name. Mr. Bell stated I had an appointment on the 16th to come in for an interview. And I think he covered that pretty clearly, what happened. The other applicant withdrew. I was called, I was in the middle of a ball game, got a call after the interview had been canceled. And I stepped out, took the phone call, and one of you, I don't know, one of the board members asked about an incident in my past. So that's what I'm here to talk about. When I was a teenager, I was found guilty of a misdemeanor destruction of property. That's what's on my record. As the board members here know, I hope there's nothing on a state or county policy level that says someone with a misdemeanor can't serve on a school board. Okay, so given that, I just wish that you all had afforded me the opportunity to come in and give a proper interview. You asked me on the phone, I believe, Ms. Burns, if I would be willing to come in for a face-to-face.
I did.
I stated absolutely.
Yes.
You know, my interview had been canceled, but I would have left right then. I was informed after the fact that the interview had been, there was a vote and it didn't pass. So I'm not here upset or in a confrontational manner at all. I had no expectation that you would vote for me, not vote for me. I did have an expectation to go according to the process. Okay, give me the interview, hear me out, then make your decision. I think it sets a precedent almost, what I worry about. I have two daughters in our school system, Lauren, who's 13 at Guyan Valley, and Hannah, who's a kindergartner at West Hamlin. And it almost sets a precedent that one mistake as a teenager can be held over you for the rest of your life. You know, I could have had this expunged at any time at Cabell County Magistrate's office for $200. But what would be the purpose of that? To come in and say, yeah, I didn't do that. I have no intention to do that. You know, I also don't intend to relitigate something that happened nearly 2 decades ago. You know, the magistrate made a decision without the input of a board of education, and it was decided, and it's there. So don't send a message to the students of Lincoln County that one transgression as a teenager sets the tone for the rest of their life and summarizes their character. That's what I have an issue with. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Cartwright. All right, item 4, approve the minutes of the January 16th meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Oh, excuse me, I'll make that motion.
Burns makes the motion.
Second.
Wilson seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, takes us to the administrative section. Any discussion?
Well, I don't mean to be picky, but B doesn't say who is going to fund this. I know it's a good thing, and their daily attendance is up, but,
Their student activity funds.
okay, from now on, let's try to put on there what's funding it. Because it wouldn't be right to fund one school trip without funding the others. So if we know who's funding it, I'm fine with that.
Any other comments on the administrative section? If not, I'll ask for a motion in a second to approve.
So moved.
Snyder makes the motion.
I'll second.
Burns seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Brings us to finance. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll ask for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Burns,
Second.
Wilson, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Brings us to the personnel portion of the agenda, the blue sheet. Any discussion?
I'd like to separate item C from the personnel
Didn't we do this last week?
schedule. No,
No, we just kind of,
She's hired the principal.
Okay.
not the
yeah,
coordinator.
yeah, she's a coordinator now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, motion to separate item C1 or item C.
Item C.
So moved.
Will Snyder makes the motion. Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item C is separated. While we've got it, let's just vote on item C. Mr. Wilson, I assume that you're going to abstain from this vote.
recuse myself.
Recuse.
Yourself, all right.
Recuse yourself.
Do I have a motion and a second on item C?
Motion approved.
And I'll second.
And, okay, Snyder and Burns, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? None? All right, now the rest of the personnel agenda, A, B, D, E, F, G, and H. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Wilson makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those opposed? All in favor, say
We're in
aye.
favor. Aye.
Any opposed? None? And it passes unanimously. Brings us down to item 8, appointment and swearing in of the board member. Daniel Cartwright is the only applicant. I make a motion that we approve Daniel Cartwright. Do I have a second?
I second.
Bill makes the motion. Wilson seconds. I was gonna call for a roll call, but we're already through that, so. Do I have any no's, any opposition?
No,
Let the record show that Burns and Snyder voted no. The item will be sent to the state superintendent for selection of a board member. I will make one additional comment. I think you're absolutely right, Mr. Cartwright, that inadvertently, and I know Mr. Snyder and Ms. Burns would not want that personally, but it does send a message that you're not going to be forgiven for a transgression.
David, that's wrong.
I-
That is wrong.
I-
I can speak too.
Excuse
That is
me-
wrong.
Excuse me, Butchie, I'm
Yeah.
talking, I got the floor.
Yeah, you always have
It
people.
it does send that message that if you as a young teenager makes a message, you can be barred from serving that. You've led an exemplary life since that incident. And it's, well, I can only personally say I apologize to you, but it's not me that's doing that. But anyway,
I'd like to say something.
Yes, I would too.
First of all, I want to,
that's,
great job. It took a lot of courage for you to come up and
Yeah.
tell us that. That's a part of you. My concern is that if he's going to sit on the board for X amount of time, why do 4 people make that decision? I know that's our choice as a board, what we're supposed to do, but if you're running for the position, let the good people of Lincoln County decide whether or not you should be in that position. We
Yes,
shouldn't have to do that.
Yes.
Let those.
yes, not right,
Absolutely.
not right now. This was their decision now.
Can I respond to that?
Sure.
Yes,
When
I pulled this up.
David, he wants to respond to
Just
that.
real quick, when I understood that, you were taking applications for the appointment, I didn't read in there that a candidate couldn't
You
do
could,
that. So that's-
no.
No, you can't
that's,
be,
an
no.
inactivity on my part. I'm sorry about that.
I'm just thinking, my
We're
thought was this,
sorry
my
that-
thought was that if people have some question about your discretion,
Right.
let them determine whether or not
Sure.
they want you in there or not, not me.
I
That's my
anticipated it
concern.
being a
That's my-
campaign issue. I
Not-
didn't think the campaign started in here, Mr.
Yeah.
It didn't, it didn't. We have nothing against him.
Excuse me. Let's not get in the back and forth here. this matter has been decided. It's out of our control at this point. I think it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
And
All
the
right.
state superintendent will
Uh,
make that decision, not us.
Which brings us to the comments and concerns section. Duval update.
Okay, we've met with the school building authority a couple of different times over the past week. Talking to them, we have the final meeting with them Monday. On the demolition side, the gym is down now, I believe most of the gym. Of course, the old band room and what they called the Blaine building is down. Then they're actually right now, as they're going through it, as Reclaim is going through it, they're going through and actually separating metal and bricks and block in order to be able to get, haul it all off appropriately. So the demo is going really well. All the asbestos has been abated. The farmhouse is gone. All that's been done. Met with Mr. Neptune and Mr. Womack and the architect via phone, and Mr. Jerry was on there, Mr. Cummings and Austin. And over the past couple of weeks, we've met 2 times, and we've kind of bantered back and forth. SBA said that they did say that we were to be commended for jumping right in and taking care of any kind of edits, if you will, that they had to do to get this accomplished. They wanted as badly as we do getting these kids out of this building into a school building. In the process, once the bids came in, even by moving the building, changing the design, cutting some areas, and moving the building probably 100 yards closer or down toward where the greenhouse sat, there is still a $13,959,786 overbid. So Lincoln County is going to have to commit another $2 million over the course of the next 3 years, which leaves a balance or a deficit of $11,959,786. Mr. Davis and I, probably along with Mr. Cummings and Mr. Lucas, will be meeting with the SBA board Monday at 9 o'clock, where my hope is they will fully fund this project.
You all gonna meet in Charleston?
We'll meet in Charleston.
You mean
So
fully funded
minus
minus.
our
Minus
minus our share.
Fair share.
So you're asking for 11 million.
You're
We're asking
asking
for
them
almost
for
$12
11
million.
Okay.
The conversation we've had has been very positive that, that could happen.
With them and the
with-
board
With
themselves?
everybody.
Okay.
It's been a very, very positive discussions. I'm a Missouri guy. I want them to show me. So Mr. Cummings and I set up a meeting with the geotech engineer there. When was that? Thursday. We met up with a geotech engineer. It was to show us why we're hauling off 293,000 cubic yards of earth.
Of dirt, yeah.
Well, the whole building where the current Duval wing sits, that the one that was in question that sunk, okay,
Uh-huh,
there's some definite land problems there.
yeah,
So moving the building down roughly 100 yards
won't.
but that will eliminate that problem. So, and then that's, the whole site will be built up 8 feet, but they're digging into, if you're familiar with that property up there, the way that hillside jets out a little bit like this,
Mhm.
just before the farmhouse,
Yeah,
they're taking that back 300 feet, 400 feet,
400?
400 feet,
Straight line?
Straight line.
400?
What's the rationale?
My goodness, that's on the other side of the hill.
at the highest port.
We're not talking sloping 400. We're
Yeah.
talking 400.
Move,
No, we're talking.
Moving it.
Yeah. What that does, that serves a couple of different purposes. One, moving forward down the road, you're going to have an area where the current building sits that's going to be basically a football field.
mhm,
And then you have on the other area that we're no longer in the curve. It's all on the straight stretch, and there's a loop
Yeah,
in
it's
and out. It's a safety issue that we've gotten addressed.
So is that mountain tiered?
It'll be benched.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll have benches on it.
Okay.
Yep. So that's where we are on that,
Okay,
with the Duval project.
all right. How
The other
about logo?
project, well, this logo, we put a contest out, put it out to all schools to, design us a new logo, to see what we, try to move forward a little bit. And we had, 7 submissions. And the winning logo, we put that out on Teams or on, not Teams, but, Cody, help me, forums for the, county to vote on. We put it out to the entire county. We had 1,700 responses, which blew my mind, honestly.
We must have had art
But
lessons.
We
that
had
day.
1,700 responses, and it was overwhelmingly, this logo was the one that was chosen. That'll be our logo starting next year. It's, it has a book there and the lamp of knowledge and the outline of the county established, 1867, and the mascots. So we were real thrilled with that. And the young lady, I've talked to her, and we brought that over there and talked to her about it, and she was thrilled that she was selected to win. It's one of the Lincoln County High School students. She did a phenomenal job on it, and we're real proud of her. And the next board meeting, I'd like to have her here for us to recognize her and her work.
Absolutely. All right, I've just got one thing. Has any other board members got anything? I've just got one thing on, something we talked about a few weeks ago, the, credit recovery. Mr. Barnett sent it to me and I could, thank you.
It was in there.
I had a virus and I couldn't open it up till today. And I started looking at it. We wondered whether or not it was law. It really is in effect. It's state policy. But it gives the county the leeway to really determine what we do in credit recovery. I see on our personnel section that the person that did credit recovery will retire on June 30th, which means if we're going to have the traditional credit recovery like we've always had, we'll have to hire somebody for that. But I would like you all to take a look, since we have some leeway in doing this. And I confess, I don't know enough about credit recovery, whether it's for all classes that are failed, just the basic classes of language arts and math, or what it is. But if you all would take a real close look at that real soon.
That's what our curriculum team's doing now, Mr. Gaines and his team.
Okay.
What we're
Of course,
doing
you know, my angle on that is to be able to do something, take that money and be able to do something for K through 3. I keep pushing the iPad and hiring teachers.
now.
And
K through 3 is gonna be addressed anyway in our plan.
Is it gonna be pretty soon? We'll hear everything?
Yeah, we're gonna work on that, relatively soon, yeah.
Before when?
It'll be fast. We have to make a decision based on staffing issues for summer, so.
So we'll know probably 1st of May or what?
Oh, it'll be before that.
Before then, good.
Yeah, around March.
Okay,
Well, let's see what we can do about making that whole process better and giving something to those other kids. You all just, I mean, you all work it out. You're the people that we hire to do that. I'm just making a suggestion. Anybody have anything else? If not, I'll ask for a motion and second to adjourn until February 6th at 6 PM.
6, yeah.
Mr., you can make 6 PM?
Yep.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Wilson, Snyder, the time is 4:54.
4:54.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.
Dang.